Welcome back to another episode of Chanel in the City. I'm your host, Chanel Omari, and I have a special guest and a very dear friend of mine on today. She's an entrepreneur owning her own skincare line, Hard Night Good Morning, and she's a podcast host of the podcast I Don't Give a Rip, and of course, the star of the Real Housewives of Dallas on Bravo TV. Please welcome my friend Deandra Simmons. How are you?
Hi, Chanel. I'm so glad we get to talk. It's been a while. We haven't seen each other in over a year. My God.
Can you believe the last time we saw each other was right before COVID?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time. So I'm ready to see you again, girl, when I can travel.
I know. When I was saying my first stop after all this is hopefully dying down is coming to Dallas and hanging out with you because it's such a great time to hang out with you. You've been in New York. We've hung out together. And also you've been through a lot lately. You were hospitalized with COVID. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm doing better. Actually, it was a really hard few months. And then I had an ankle replacement right before the COVID.
Right.
And so, I literally had an ankle replacement in the hospital. And then 2 days later, I came home. And a day later, I had to go back to the hospital because of COVID. So it was a lot, but I'm starting to feel better. And, the only thing I have, I'll tell you, is because you interview people, is a little bit of the COVID brain and fatigue. So I've noticed when I get questions from people and I'm talking and I'll forget what I'm talking about or the question. And that's not me. And that's the only thing I can say is that has to be the COVID situation. But I've been taking a new brain formula that I created and it seems to be helping. So I'm very excited. So in Ultimate Living, cool. I created a brain balance and a liver, kidney, bladder detox. And so I've been coupling them together and that does seem to help. And today I was, at the hormone doctor, we were looking at my levels and I look like all of my tests came back great. All my blood tests are finally back great. Everything's good. So I can say that I'm really glad that I lived through that. And I have, a lot of knowledge about it because people are asking me, well, I got COVID. What should I expect? I'm at this stage. I'm at that stage. And, it's a lot. So I'm glad that I survived it and I know what it's like to have it. I mean, because you have a different sympathy and empathy for people that, have it and have experienced.
And thank God you're okay. Because I was worried too. I texted you. I wanted to make sure you were, all right. Because especially during, everybody's getting it and it's contagious and you want to be careful and safe. And also you're all about healthy living and your skincare line, like you said, you just created, which is so cool what you created. So what inspired you to create this new product of yours?
Well, I was shocked that I actually got COVID because, if you look at the studies, if you keep your vitamin D levels really high, you shouldn't be hospitalized. And my vitamin D levels were extremely high. And so even today, when I went to the doctor, my vitamin D levels were still very high. So that didn't fit with the research. But what does fit with research, if you look at people that have had the major illnesses and things, I started looking at that. Your liver, kidney, and bladders are the three main organs that are, affected. So detoxing that, and that's why I made that product. And then the brain balance to basically help with mental acuity, with memory recollection and all those kind of things, and brain fog. And so basically those are in Ultimate Living. I did that. I still have Hard Night Good Morning, which is doing really well. And I'm glad you asked because I just signed with a spa in Dallas, but they have 250 locations nationwide. So we're starting the program in Dallas it's called Woodhouse Day Spa. We're starting the program there, and beautiful spas. The one down from my house is like 6,000 square feet, and they're launching our line. And then we're going to kind of start with these spas and then launch the program all over, hopefully the United States. So I'm very excited. And I'm still doing, we're back to finally in Texas being able to do some trunk shows, which people go, why do you do trunk shows? I do it because I want people to come and meet me and ask me about my products and see what I look like. I mean, If you own a skincare company, you shouldn't be hiding. You should be letting people see your skin. That's the most important thing. Same thing with nutrition. You should be able to be knowledgeable about your products. And the reason I do those is because people then ask me questions and they know I'm not just a face behind a product. I know my product and I understand how it's made. I make my product. I do the research for my product. That's why it's important for me to continue to do those meet and greets and things like that, as long as, everybody wears a mask and it's safe. I mean, because that's where I really feel like my expertise in my field really shines,
Yes. I mean, I love your skincare line. I remember
you said, yes.
I mean, my skin is, literally you've changed my skin and my life because it wasn't just about we were talking about this in our last podcast. It wasn't just about me having good skin from your skincare line. It was about the nutrition, like the nutrients that you put in it,
Mhm.
my overall body, like my brain, like everything was working and being balanced out. It was about a healthy living lifestyle. I think we spoke about more
Yes.
so. And so that's what I love about your skincare line and all the products. You really are super invested. You know everything. So like you're the expert. We come to you for all the knowledge. You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate that because I work very hard to know everything that goes into what I do. I'm making a new product right now. I'm testing it out. And I just had some other people that work with me come to my house to get their samples today. I wanted to try it 3 or 4 days ahead of time just to make sure I like it and then, let them try it. But I'm real excited about it.
Can you give us a little tease of the new product?
Yeah, it's so my best selling moisturizer is my anti-inflammatory moisturizer. But the one thing it's been missing, because most people use that one during the day, is, any kind of SPF protection we have a little bit from the red algae, but I was thinking, what else naturally can I put in there? So I put in red raspberry seed oil, which has SPF of 15. It's amazing. Plus it's great for your skin. I've been using it on the scars from my surgery. I've been using it on my skin, on my face when I go out without anything on, just to see how well it protects me. It's been really working. So now I incorporated it into that product. And I think it's going to be amazing to do that. And then somebody that can't have, for instance, a sunscreen, because if you have breakouts on your skin, or if you have problem skin, rosacea, and you're using a sunscreen, you're probably going to have more problems. Sunscreen is the one thing that really breaks people out. So everybody's always looking for natural solutions. So this would be the natural solution to have the sunscreen and also have the anti-inflammatory. But hold on a second. Let's see. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay, have the sunscreen, have the anti-inflammatory, but then you can still use it at night because the red raspberry seed oil does wonderful things, hydration, moisturization for your skin. It just has that daytime protectant factor, and you're not putting an actual sunscreen on. So this could be like revolutionary in my one product to add that ingredient. So we'll see what happens. I love it so far, and I was worried about the smell. It's not affected the smell at all. So, sometimes it's really hard to mask real actives and oils because of the smell. So you just have to work with it and keep working with it. And this one, I'm really pleased with it.
I can't wait to buy that. That's going to be amazing. I love the whole raspberry feel to it. I love raspberries. Where do you see Hard Night Good Morning going? I mean, do you want to expand? Do you want to go into foods, other types of products and genres? You know what I'm saying? Because I see you going global, obviously, more of an empire. So where do you see Hard Night Good Morning going?
Yeah, thank you, COVID brain.
What's my excuse?
So basically,
my brain's foggy without COVID. Oh God, go on. Sorry.
So now, because all the spas are contacting us, which I didn't see that being the direction. So I'm pretty sure we're going to go into back bar and be a spa driven product because of the fact that they seem to really resonate with wanting a natural product line that works. And I'm a good spokesperson for my line. I'm happy to go there. I trained, like I said, all these employees last week. That's what I did for the Wood House people. And I'm available to answer questions and help. And I really enjoy working with the estheticians. So I believe that that's probably going to be our direction. I'll still have my retail online, hardnightgoodmorning.com. People can buy the products, but I think it'll be great to be able to go into a spa, have the esthetician look at your skin, and then recommend a Hard Night Good Morning product. And then, of course, I'll have to start working on the back bar stuff, which is what you use in the treatment room, and making some unique products for that experience as well. So I didn't see that coming. Honestly, you never can predict the future, but I'm happy about it. And I love it because it gives kind of a special panache to the line. It makes it look a little bit more, I don't know, luxe, I guess you could say, because, if you have to go to these spas, and if you're going to the spas and you're getting this experience where they're assessing your skin, I think you're looking at the product and they're recommending it. You're thinking, different things about a product that you might just buy off any shelf, So I like that. I like that experience.
That.
So
I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. You deserve it more than anybody I know, because I know how hard you've worked and how much you just invest your blood, sweat, and tears into the line and into everything you do. Talk to us before we're going to get into the season, because I can't get my eyes off this season. I just watched the episode, like the last episode right before we got on Zoom, which you're amazing. I mean, you're one of my favorites out of the whole cast, and you're just you always carry yourself with grace no matter what. You always pick yourself back up no matter what. You're always, you're just owning your stuff. And I love you this season especially. We're going to get into it, but talk to us about from a skin care specialist, how important is it to take care of our skin, and how much does it go and affect our lifestyle and our mental health? Because I feel like a lot of times we don't realize that everything all goes together. We're like, oh, our skin, we don't have to take care of our skin. It has nothing to do with how we're feeling today. But I've come to you and I've told you, like, a lot of it has to do with one another. Like when my skin's breaking out, I'm feeling usually like crap about my day, or mentally, I'm just not there, or emotionally, I'm not there. So talk to us a little bit about how important that is.
Well, most people that come to me and have problems with their skin, so the first thing anyone sees is going to be your face in general. That's what happens. And so if you don't feel confident about what your face or your skin looks like, it's going to affect everything else in your life, whether it's your business performance or, it doesn't really matter if you're on Zoom or you're face to face, but if you don't feel like you look good, mostly, especially women, but I have a lot of men that use my products. I mean, so I think that if you can really kind of use a skincare that works for you, and you can feel good about your wrinkles or your lines or your rosacea or your redness or your acne clearing up, and I think then you kind of get a whole new confidence level. It's almost like, for me, my weight goes up and down, so I just lost 30 pounds, so I'm like super confident now because I was really fat on Real Housewives of Dallas this season because I was stressed to the max. And, I'd been eating in the pandemic because what else everybody do? Eat and, drink and cook and everything. So now I'm much more confident and I can wear the cute clothes again. So it's kind of like that. But then also it's a pairing a lifestyle. It's eating the greens. It's taking your nutrition, your vitamins, the green foods. We have Green Miracle as our best-selling product for a reason, because it's a whole food powder. It's all your phytonutrients, your fruits and your vegetables. And I mean, there's other companies that sell similar things, and even there's companies that sell like little vitamins like that, but you can't get 2 little vitamins to give you all your fruits and vegetables for a day. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, I've done too much research. I've been in this industry too, for many years, but it's very important to antioxidants and green foods and plants and all those kind of things work in conjunction with a healthy lifestyle. I told you, we talked about your skin, about oils. You have to ingest oil. I don't, women, oh, I don't want to get fat. I don't want to take oil. Oil is the most important thing to put in your body for your skin. Fish oil, flax oil. I mean, choose one. Olive oil. It's all good, but you're going to have to take it every day in order for your skin to look healthy, because otherwise you're going to dry up and look like a dried up prune, raisin, whatever. So I mean, you're going to have to do it. It's also good for your joints. It's good for so many things. It's also good for your brain. I mean, so for me, people make fun of me. If you saw Real Housewives this year and you saw all of the stuff I haul around with me, I haul around these sprays, I haul around my vitamins and my nutrition, and I take it. That's part of my shtick. I do it. I live it. And so that's the thing, is I practice what I preach.
And that's why you look so young. I feel like you probably feel so young, and you always look and feel confident, because I think that that you're being responsible with your body, with your overall health. I think we have to be responsible for it.
We have to do that. And also, I operate under high stress. So incorporating the meditation this year that I incorporated into my life really helped. Taking time for myself really helped. One day this week, they were trying to schedule stuff, and I'm like, I just need self-care. I've got to have some self-care time, and I've got to learn to schedule that in my life, because I always, would just say yes, 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 yes. And then I'd be at the end of the day dead. And then there's no time for my husband, and my husband, that's the love of my life. And I want to make time for him and do things with him as well. So you got to kind of learn how to balance everything in your life, which is it's hard. It's very hard. It's learning tough. It takes a lifetime to learn, I think, really.
I love that answer, because it's real and it's honest, and it's just a journey, I mean, talking about like a lifetime to learn, and just balancing mental health and balancing your family and work. We come into this season, we see you juggling a lot. Talk to us about what went through your head, entering this new season. We have a new housewife who you're friends with, Tiffany, and, but you're always at the heart of the show. There's a lot going on. So talk to us about, your side of everything and how you feel about this new season.
I really was excited because, like you said, Tiffany was coming on, and I thought she was going to be wonderful to have on the show, because she's so bright, and she's one of the most intelligent people I've ever met, and she has a strong work ethic. She is a mom. She has a great marriage. She's got all of the things, she's got the aspirational lifestyle. She has a beautiful home. She likes shopping and cute clothes. I mean, you can't really go wrong. She's got hotels and wineries. I mean, my God, So it's just, I mean, I was excited to see her, and I was excited to see how our friendship would play out, because I knew her, but we weren't best friends. So I didn't know if we were going to get along, not get along. And, that just, you saw how that happened. And then also it was hard because we were in the middle of a pandemic, and then we were doing this, and, trying to juggle my business was hard. And then all of a sudden, as you've seen, my family situation kind of happened, and that fell in my lap. Literally, the cameras were rolling, and I was getting a text message from my stepmother, and I had gotten, other information from her. And so I said to my husband, I go, well, this is what's happening right now. So this is what we're going to talk about, even though I was a little trepidatious, to be honest, to discuss it. But I had been discussing it with my mom and my husband for many years, or actually for the longest time we've been doing this, 4 years, I guess. And I wanted to talk about it, but I was scared. And then I thought, okay, well, this is just a sign from the heavens. I need to talk about it. And you'll see what happens. But it was just, to me, obvious that that was going to be what I was going to, reveal this year, as what was happening and how I was dealing with, reaching out to my brother and my stepmother. And then on this spiritual journey, which really was kind of incorporating some meditative practices in my life that I needed, for my stress was through the roof. And I was afraid I was gonna have a heart attack or something, because I was just, so amped up because of the businesses and, the podcast. I was juggling so many things. You've got to learn how to, bring it down. And that was really when I sought out Darren. It wasn't anything to do with my religion. It was about, how do I control all these factors in my life and become a more peaceful person, communicate better. I mean, I was a pretty reactive person, and I'm still a pretty reactive person. That's my personality. I mean, you trigger me, I'm going to react. I'm not going to sit there and take it. That's just not who I am. But maybe I react one or two times in a different way than you've seen me react the last few seasons. And that's the growth there. But I'm not going to win every one. It's not going to happen. Yeah.
I think that's what we love about you, is that you're always open and vulnerable, no matter what's thrown your way in the season, during the season. It could be the most personal thing that's happened to you, between you and your family members, or you and your friends, but you will take it and you will own it and you will talk about it and you will face it. And then the thing I love about you the most is, then there's a moral to the story. You'll always give that lesson of what you've learned, what the audience should learn. So I think that's really important to take away, that, like you said, we learn to be better people vicariously through you guys. With that being said, because we've spoken about our relationships with our mothers, and we love Mama D. We see you throughout the season struggle, with your relationship with her, because in the last episode, we see her talk about you taking the last name Simmons instead of Callaway, and towards your advantage. But we see how hurt you were. And my heart went out for you, because I understand what it feels like to try to prove yourself to everyone, or feel like you're trying to prove yourself when you know that you're being honest and you're being innocent and you're just telling your truth. So take us through that whole journey of, especially for people who haven't caught up yet, what was going through your mind and your heart, and why do you feel there's that struggle there with you and your mom? Why do you feel she feels that way?
That's a mystery. I mean, that story's not true. I mean, honestly, I was 18 years old. So I'm looking for the paperwork to find it, because I'm like, I gotta find this paperwork somewhere. I'm sure my dad still had it, because I have files when he passed away that I haven't gone through, because he kept everything. So, I mean, just to make sure if I was 18 or 19 or 20, I can't remember. It was like right around the time I was going to college. So I just turned 18. From what I remember, to change my name, I had to be 18, and I had to go down to the courthouse, and I went with my stepfather. And the reason at the time I did it was because, if you look back over the history of my life, if I look back over the history of my life, he was in my life since I was 4. And he was the parent. He was the one that he rolled my hair at night, made sure I got my bath, made sure I had my food, made sure he stayed up with me all night if I had an asthma attack, and even went to a board meeting in the morning, would take me to the hospital if I couldn't breathe. I had horrible asthma as a child. People don't know.
Wow.
A lot of the ladies make fun of me having ailments. And a lot of the reasons I do is because I took so many steroids and antibiotics when I was a child, because I couldn't breathe. So he was the one that would rock me in the rocking chair all night long and be there for me, and just, he took me to my school, and if I went to soccer, or if I went, whatever I had to do as a kid, he was always there for me. So then when I moved away to my father's house, it was because I was having some issues with my mother, and he was obviously her husband. He was going to take her side. So I moved in with my dad, and I realized that was not a healthy place to be. My father was an alcoholic, but at 13, 14, and you are free to do whatever you want, I lived there for a while, and then I realized that wasn't good to be unhinged, at 13 or 14 years old. So I ended up moving back into my mother's house, and Glenn, I guess it had been 4 or 5 years. I don't know how many years it had been maybe 4 years since I talked to my father, maybe 3 years. I don't know the timing, to be honest with you. But when I went to change my name, it was because he had been the one consistent and constant parent in my life. And I felt like it was the right thing to do. I did not know at 18 years old that Simmons would do anything for me, because my dad's last name was Callaway, which they misspelled, by the way, on the show. It's Callaway, like Callaway Golf. Okay.
Oh,
If I had
okay.
been an opportunist, my dad's was Scottish, from Edinburgh. If I had been an opportunist, I would have kept Callaway, because that would have taken me real far. I could have used that, no problem. Okay.
Right.
So, and by the way, my father was very wealthy. So it's not like, I needed to do that for, it just, my mother, I disagree with that completely. And I don't know why she says, I remember the phone call, because think about this. This is 1987, 88. Kids don't have cell phones. Okay. There's no
Right.
cell phones. I'm living at home. Am I going to call my mother from that home phone to her bedroom from my room? I mean, what is that? Does that make any sense? The phone call? There's no phone call. Okay.
Right.
So, like, what are you talking about? Like, there's no phone calls.
Do you think your mom might have been jealous of the relationship, or the fact that you would have gone out of your way to dedicate that to your father? Just the act of, do you think sometimes she doesn't want to admit, or is that, I don't know. I'm not in a relationship, but do you
I
ever?
don't know what is going on. Because Glenn would never have said those things. Glenn was my stepfather, about me, that I changed my name for opportunistic reasons. I know he would never say that. I've already verified it with some family friends, and I can't out who they are because that would make them upset. They called me very supportive and said, I'm so sorry, that's not true. So I just want you to know it's not true. Your dad never said that. None of that ever happened. Everybody knows how much he adored you. My dad worshiped me, and my stepfather, adored me. He treated us like princesses, like, gold. He was so he thought I walked on water, everything I did, except, I got in trouble. But everything I did was just, I was going to be president of the United States as far as he was concerned. He had high aspirations for me. So changing my name, and I will tell you another thing that doesn't make sense, Chanel. So when I changed my name, both of his daughters were estranged from him. Okay. They ended up both either dying or committing suicide, both of them. Okay. I was the only one left really at one point in his life. So the relationship he had with me, he raised me since I was 4. He was estranged from his daughters because his wife was an alcoholic, and he left her at a certain point when they went to college. That caused a huge family rift. One girl was an alcoholic that died by suicide by alcohol. The other daughter was addicted to pills, unfortunately, and died suicide by pills. So he had this really, he raised me and cared for me because he had the time to be with me, because by that time he'd already made his way in the business world. So he spent a lot of time with me. And plus, because the daughter's having so many issues, he was really wanting to raise me and have me be his daughter and do everything he could that he didn't do for his daughters. So the whole story to me is bananas. I'll just say that.
Right.
And I don't know if it was because she wanted to be featured on the show more. I don't know why she did it. I still ask her why she did. It's no point in talking to her about it, because I'm not going to get the answer that I need, and she's never going to validate me. She has her version. I have my version, which I know is the truth. And, but like I said, go back to 1987. Nobody's calling from a cell phone. Okay. At least no kid is getting a cell phone to call your parents. If I was in college, I was calling from a freaking payphone. Okay. So,
Right.
Or the dorm phone that the RA has, everybody gets to light up and call, for 15 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally know, for sure. No, thank you for clarifying that too. And people will stay tuned, and they'll see more of what's going to happen between you and Mama D, of course.
There's nothing else that really happened, because you saw it last time. We talked and sat down, and I just let her have her version, and I had mine, and I'm going to move on, because there's no battle to fight or to win here, and it's not even worth it. To have peace in my life, I'm just going to be like, okay, fine, you have your version, I have mine. And she's 80. And so that's the thing. She's not going to change her mind. She's not going to, she's not going to change. A leopard doesn't change her spot. So let's just agree to disagree, move on. I love her for the things I love her for. She's, has great qualities. She's very passionate. She's taught me a good work ethic. She does love me very much. It's not about that. It's just that we see things a little bit differently. I'm much more of a pragmatist, and she's much more of a kind of I don't know, she's like pie in the sky, and she likes to revisionist history and stuff. And I'm not into all that. I'm just a realist.
I love that. but that's what makes you guys amazing, and we love you guys. Well, let's move on with okay, your friendship. So a lot of, you and I want to talk about, we're gonna wrap up soon. But let's talk about a little bit about you and Kary Brittingham's,
Mhm.
relationship, because you had a good relationship, but then you see kind of ups and downs throughout the season. Talk to us about your side of it all. Talk to us about where really you're at with her, and why you feel sometimes there's a miscommunication, if there is a
That's
miscommunication. I'm
that's
I'm not.
another one like my mother out of the blue that shocked me. I had no idea. So that was like, shock factor times 100, because I felt like we were close, that we were communicating, and that she did not share what was happening with her daughter with me. And I did ask the questions on the phone calls, which I've said, and she says I didn't. So that's her version versus my version. Whoever wants to believe whatever, they can believe it. Um, we have made up, but it's been Kary's very she digs her heels in. Okay. Which I used to be very much that way. And then I just finally have to like give certain things up, but now, I haven't really spoken to her. We did watch What Happens Live together. Haven't really spoken to her since then. I feel like there's a lot of separation between myself and Tiffany and the rest of the girls. So, that's kind of how it seems to be, the social media things and all that. And I'm very supportive of Tiffany because I think she's amazing. Um, and they have to, whatever side or whoever they want to choose, that's their business too. They're all adult women and they can do whatever they want. But it's unfortunate. The thing I was very upset about was the selfish commentary. And because I guess that really hit hard with me, because when my dad passed away and we had the will situation,
Mhm.
which we talk about on the show, that was one of the words that my stepmother used to hurt me. And I don't like that word, because most people that know me, my good friends, know I am not selfish. I'm the one that reaches out, that writes the notes, that sends the gifts, that does this and that and all the other stuff. And so I'm very generous to everybody in my life. So that to me just really upset me. Now, I think communication styles were different. I think Kary likes to talk on the phone all day long. I don't do that. I'm not a phone talker. I mean, you get 5 minutes, that's it. Just
Yeah.
not a phone talker person. I mean,
Well, you're really busy. You're really busy.
well, I know that they say they're busy too, but I think they enjoy the phone talking. I don't enjoy it. I would rather you walk 4 blocks to my house, knock on my door and say, let's have a conversation and bring me a cup of coffee. And I'm fine with that. And I have my 2 best friends. One lives 3 blocks. The other one lives 1 mile. And that's exactly what they do. They come to my house with a coffee every day or every other day and say, hey, I want to talk to you about something. Or they show up at my pool with their clothes, with their swimsuits, and just lay out. And I don't care. But that's, now I told Kary, because she got upset this summer about the pool. Like, why don't you invite me to the pool? I go, do you have an invitation? I go, my best friends are here every day. Just come on in. It's not like that's big of a deal.
Right.
We always are hosting people at our house. My husband and I are feeding people, offering drinks. I'm always making some new recipe that I'm trying out, and everybody's here. I do family dinners on Sunday. You just show up. I don't need to send you a gilded invitation delivered to your doorstep with butterflies flying out of it.
Totally. You know me, I'm like you. We're the same. That's why we bond, because I don't like to kiss people's ass a lot. I mean, listen, I'm all for coming from love like you are, and I'm selfless, and I like to get along with people, which we have in common. You always like to get along with people, but if somebody talks to me crazy, I'm going to have to put my foot down. Just as a woman of empowerment, you have to put your foot down, because like you said, if you're not going to practice what you preach, then how are your followers and your fans going to learn from you, and how are they going to get better from that? They won't, if you don't set the precedent. So I think I understand where you're coming from.
I think with a lot of the women on the show, I think we're just going to have to agree to disagree, but I would like, them to listen to my point of view and respect what I have to say about it, whether it be my finances or friendship or marriage or, whatever it is. My mother, just understand that I will listen to your side of the argument, and I will let you have that and believe that, just like I do with my mother. I will
Right.
say my piece too, and I can walk away and be fine with it. I don't, it's not like a do or die scenario. I'm not that petty. I mean, so it's
Right.
like,
Right. Like, what does Deandra Simmons? That's what I want to know. What does Deandra Simmons need from the rest of your friends this season? And what do you want to speak? Like, what's something you want to make clear to the audience that they might feel they're not understanding or misconstrued? Like, what do you need? It's time to say, yeah, what do I need from my friends? Right. What do I need for them? For me to be a better person, for them to be better people, for us to be a better friend group. What do you think it is?
for me, I really need people to understand, whether it be on the show or anywhere else, that just because I support one person doesn't mean I don't support you. If I'm friends with Tiffany, if Tiffany's doing something I don't agree with, I'm going to tell Tiffany, I think you're wrong, because that's who I am. And I hope she tells me the same thing. Now, I don't want everybody ganging up on me because of that, because it's not right. If it's the same thing with anyone else on the on the couch or on the cast. I mean, I will tell you what I think. I will respect your opinion of what you think, and you don't have to believe me. It's your choice. We can walk away and still be friends, and you can have your version, I can have my version. It's that's fine with me. It's not like I have to win and I have to be right, and you have to listen to my side of the table. I mean, it's because people are different, and we're all unique, and we have different personalities. We run our lives differently. I mean, Cameron doesn't know what her electric company is. That's fine. That's her choice. I mean, I want to know, even if my husband paid every bill in the world, and even with my dad, even when I was growing up, I asked questions like, who's our electric company? What if my parents died in a car crash and I needed to pay the electric bill? I'm curious like that. My husband,
you like to ask questions.
I know I use Spectrum Cable. I know that Zero Energy. I know Town of Highland Park is my water bill. I mean, I know all that shit because I want to, even if my husband was taking care of it. It's just something that I would always know. So, but
I think that's also on that point, sorry to interrupt, but that's also an important lesson for any woman listening that we should all know. We should all want to be curious whether our husbands are helping us or right? I mean, how important is that lesson?
I think whether you have family money or not, whether my mother has any stake in my finances, I still want to know where the bills are, how they're paid, who's paying them, what account they're coming out of every month. And I look at that shit every day. I mean, that's just because I want to be empowered about my finances. And, and all the stuff like with my mother giving me a check on camera, she did that for, effect. She didn't need to give me a check on camera. And the check that she gave me, by the way, is part of the family trust that is to cover something in the house. Okay. She never paid $3,000 for a damn dog, whatever she said. That's not true. All that's crazy. So it's like, and I was, and I like to be funny on the show sometimes, and people just don't get it. Like I said, somebody on Twitter was like, oh, Deandra said she could pay for her housekeeper. I'm like, yeah, it was a joke. Okay. It was a joke. Can people just lighten up and laugh and just, don't take everything so seriously.
Well, talking about,
get a hobby, people, get a hobby,
get a hobby, and also learn some comedy, right? That rhymes. Cause people need to know that some of it is lighthearted. Talk to us a little bit also about what can we expect for the rest of the season? And I know that you I taped the reunion. I don't know how much you can talk about a tease of what we can expect for the rest of the season and a reunion with all you women.
I mean, obviously you can see that, I'm still having some issues. You can see Brandi and I are having issues, and you'll see how that plays out. And I believe they teased I think they've teased the page 6 thing on the last one. So you'll see how that plays out and what that is about. And then we'll have to kind of, talk about things, I guess, when we get to whenever our reunion is.
Right.
And I believe, I think it's going to be really dramatic, honestly, because I think there's a lot of feelings about me and about Tiffany and about different things, and people wishing that, I guess, I had made different decisions or chose different sides or not discussed things, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's going to be, there's a lot, honestly. It doesn't, just because my mama drama is over, doesn't mean that my drama is over.
Right. Oh, I like that. That's a merch line. You got to say that for a merch line t-shirt. I'm buying that. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about what's going on with you and Brandi? So the last episode we see, there's a little bit of a disconnect. You and Brandi, are having issues this season. You're struggling, but then you see you guys getting along, which is like this comic relief because you guys really love each other. But then, so talk to us about your side of it all. Like, where do you feel the disconnect is, and where do you guys stand now?
I think the thing that really upset me was when she questioned my religious beliefs and the judginess I felt from that, the judgment, when she knows of all people. I mean, I'm the one that when Brandi had her issue with the video, I sent her Bible verses and prayers and songs and all Christian, by the way, just to lift her up. I took a cross to her family home when her mother-in-law passed away, and a letter that took me about 45 minutes to write to her and her husband about what it's like to lose a parent. Plus, I had gone and bought her kids probably $400 worth of toys at Toys Unique so they could have something to distract that was new from what was happening in the family home. So I've always been there for her. And whenever the video came out, I was one of the first people on Instagram to say, I know this is not I don't know what I said, but I support you. We love you. We know your Christian beliefs are important to you, and that, this is whatever I said. I don't remember what I said, but anyway, so I just was always supportive. So when she said in front of my mother that, I was basically turning my back on Jesus, and that anytime you go outside of the Christian belief system and anything that's not related to Jesus, I had real issue with that, because last year, I don't know if you remember, we went to a haunted house and she was talking to spirits, and we had those little pendulums, which I pettily gave it back to her, because I still had it, because I keep everything. And, I just reminded her of, this is very duplicitous, because you talk to spirits, you had a medium and a psychic, which is completely against the word of God. Okay. And, it talks about sorcery and witchcraft, Old Testament, New Testament, wherever you go, it talks about all of that. I think it's in Galatians or Ephesians in the New Testament, and Old Testament is definitely Leviticus. So you can go in there and check me up. And then you can also talk about, I put on my social media yesterday about, and I can't remember exactly what verse it is, but don't call out the, speck in your brother's eye before you take the board out of your own eye, basically judgment of people. And so that to me was very shocking that she would say that. And also there was a Ouija board at that haunted house last year. That is the number one thing all Christians know you don't mess with. That's a portal to the devil. Okay. I mean, that's just, you don't mess with Ouija boards. I actually took a piece of fabric and put it over the Ouija board because I was scared the crap out of me when I walked in there. So I just didn't understand how she was saying a meditation. And then she said astral gliding or whatever. I go, that's a lubricant, first of all. And then she said astral projection. Well, I never heard that conversation when Darren was here, and I've never discussed that with him. So I don't even know what she's talking about. So I saw the flashback to the scene. Maybe he was talking about being out of body in his meditation, but I just think, that it was taken way out of context, and she didn't think it was a big deal, but it was a big deal to me, because when I'm trying to work on myself and better myself and you're judging me, that's a problem with me, because I didn't judge her for what she was doing last year, even though I didn't really feel like that was right, but that was her choice.
Right. No, totally. I'm glad that you're clearing it up. I mean, are you guys in a good safe space now, or would you say that we have to tune in to see where your relationship
we'll have to tune in. I mean, I just, we're not, Brandi has 4 kids, so she doesn't really respond to a lot of things anyway, if you text her or call her. But, I just really am not really communicating with, I think she's probably very upset about how I handled it. And I understand that, but I was also very upset. And it's a big deal to me. My mother's an evangelist. So everyone in Christian television is watching this and judging me because of it. So that is a huge deal. And I mean, I'm surprised I haven't heard from the church we go to and the Christian TV people we worked with, because they would all be calling me and saying, you're going straight to hell in a handbasket. And so I just didn't want all of that kind of stuff out there, because it's not what it seems. It's a meditation. You sit there like with your Headspace app and listen to meditation. That's not anti-Christian, it's like, or the one that Darren makes for me, by the way, I mean, it's very healing, de-stressing, also makes me look at things a different way and how I evaluate the world and my circumstances and relate to people, which is a bonus. It's a positive, not a negative.
Right. Well, Deandra, thank you so much for being here. Where can everybody follow you? Make sure you tune into Deandra Simmons on the Housewives of Dallas on Bravo TV. For more info, go to bravotv.com. And Deandra, where can everybody follow you?
So on Instagram, it's at Deandra Simmons, DANDRASIMMONS. Same thing on Twitter. On Facebook, it's DANDRASIMMONS. And then please go to hardnightgoodmorning.com and ultimateliving.com to see our skincare and nutrition products. And also we have Instagram pages and Facebook pages. So please go and like that as well.
And you can also download Deandra's amazing podcast, I Don't Give a Rip, on all podcast platforms.
It's that COVID brain there again. Yeah, I Don't Give a Rip. Check that out. We've got some fun people on there. You've been on there. I mean,
I've had the privilege of being on there. It's amazing.
Hey guys, it's Deandra Simmons from the Real Housewives of Dallas, and you're checking me out on Chanel Omari's podcast, Chanel in the City.